Alright, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 48. This one is the co-main at middleweight. Got Kyle Daukaus taking on Jamie Pickett. Pickett's going to have a 4-inch advantage in reach, though Daukaus is an inch taller. Pickett is stepping in on short notice for Julian Marquez, who, man, I really wanted to bet him with plus odds in this spot. Now it's a little bit different with Pickett coming in, but yeah, Pickett coming in on short notice, so I'll start with him. Riding a two-fight winning streak to pretty much save his career. He was looking like he was in dire straits. Lost to Tafin and Chukwi in his UFC debut. And a weird KO against Jordan Wright where he just drove for a takedown and got elbowed. So, it's a first-round knockout, but it goes down that way. But if you go watch the tape, it was just kind of like a weird one. So, not necessarily a loss that is aging well to Jordan Wright, but yeah, keep in mind that it was a weird loss. It's not like Jordan Wright just starched him. But yeah, it looked like a pink slip fight between him and Staropoli, and Staropoli ended up getting caught after that. The one thing I will say is Pickett won that fight pretty much just by being the bigger fighter, a lot of clinch control. He does have powerful weapons when he does throw. There's not a lot of rhythm to his striking, but he's capable of just throwing a power overhand, and if it lands, it lands. This guy is definitely dangerous in his MMA. You have a puncher's chance. He's pretty big for the weight class, but yeah, I guess Staropoli, I think that was a matchup that favored him quite well in hindsight. I think he was a dog in that. And yeah, Staropoli kind of small for this weight class. Pickett big for this weight class. Was still a close fight, though, because there's not a lot to score in fights like that. But Pickett was able to just control him against the fence and a little bit of ground control. He was just way bigger. And then against Joseph Holmes, it was very similar. Holmes coming in on short notice in that one. And the book on him in that one was that Holmes was just very green. Everybody was saying that week, but I didn't bet that fight, and just because I couldn't talk myself into picking Jamie Pickett. That's how I feel about betting on Jamie Pickett. If I'm kind of showing my hand here, he's just had two gift matchups here. Good for him. I'm glad he's he's probably earned himself a couple more fights. So good for him. I'm glad that he's getting his money and shit. But yeah, for betting purposes, this is a much bigger test. But, Jamie Pickett fought in the Contender Series 3 times. One of those times he lost to Punahele Soriano. And he got out-wrestled in that one. That was what did it. On the feet, though, he was having some success. Soriano is a very good striker. I think he did pull away with the first round at the end there. But Pickett was cracking him. And if you want to see Pickett striking at his best, I would go watch that fight. But yeah, Punahele Soriano was able to out-wrestle him in the second and the third round. So, Pickett seems like he's got some decent wrestling and clinch control, but it's not necessarily an all-around good grappling game. Granted, that was in 2019, so he's had some time to improve. But yeah, it seems like if he's the one advancing position, he's all right on the ground and in the clinch, but off of his back, not so much. And yeah, for Kyle Daukaus, he has been trying to fight forever, man. After that loss to Phil Hawes, which was in May, he comes back in October and he fights Kevin Holland. They spend the first round pretty much with Daukaus trying to get the body lock, just full-on control in the clinch. And Holland was able to fight it off, but then there was an accidental headbutt and it led to Holland getting knocked out. They initially rebooked that for a month later, but they opted not to. Smart because Holland, coming off it was a knockout, although it was an accidental headbutt that led to it. It's just, for your body and your brain and shit, it's the same, you don't want to go in to a fight with a glass chin, that would just been bad for Kevin Holland. So I'm glad they didn't make that one. Then against Roman Dolidze, he backs out of that fight, I believe, the day of. And then Julian Marquez had to withdraw from the fight this weekend. So he's had a lot of shifting around, Daukaus has, but I think that this is the easiest opponent for him that he could have drawn. And I'm not trying to talk down Jamie Pickett's game. I'm just saying all of these other guys have something that they bring to the table. And I think Dolidze is just kind of a better version of Pickett, at least where they excel. I mean, Pickett might even be better than Dolidze. I think Dolidze sucks, man. But yeah, Phil Hawes looked really good against Daukaus. Was kind of just better than him everywhere. I think that was the best performance from Phil Hawes. Against Brendan Allen in Daukaus' debut, short notice, kind of gets worked in the first round. Second round was really close with Daukaus fighting back late, showing that he's got high-level jiu-jitsu. He's definitely not lost off of his back or anything. He's got good control in the clinch. and he fights his way back and wins the third round against Brendan Allen pretty handily. It was a very close fight, especially for short notice. Kind of early on in the pandemic too, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So yeah, that's what he did to start the UFC, and then he bounces back with a solid win over Dustin Stoltzfus, who, as we've seen now, is not at all bad on the ground. He was like destroying Gerald Meerschaert until he wasn't, and that's how Meerschaert is. He just pulls off these crafty submissions, but in terms of technique, Stoltzfus was kind of bullying Meerschaert on the ground. So Daukaus was able to handle him pretty well. I think it shows that Daukaus has a pretty well-rounded ground game. I don't know how great it is, but he's got long limbs, crafty submission game, and we haven't really seen the submission game executed in the UFC, but it's definitely there. Striking wise, he's got a similar style to his brother, like similar striking base. He does have some accurate punches, but sometimes it takes him like a round to get in the rhythm. Like get his timing down. Um, he does leave his hands down every now and then, which is a little concerning. But he does have a chin and very accurate punches, just like his brother. When they are working, and again, like he does have a tendency to pick it up as the fight goes on. And if we look at the betting odds for this one, Kyle Daukaus at -230, I think is a pretty good value. I'm gonna bet that. And I'm not like super sold on what Kyle Daukaus's UFC ceiling is. Uh, I'm kind of curious, honestly, because he has a lot of good tools, and he just kind of seems like he just keeps having bad luck. So I do think that that could contribute to a W here. Like remember when Marvin Vettori couldn't fight forever, and then he finally gets to fight Carl Roberson. There was a weight cut issue, and then by the time that fight happened, it was like a grudge match. I'm not saying that Daukaus is going to be in like a grudge match with Jamie Pickett. I'm just saying like he is probably really eager to get out there, and he's been training all this time, whereas Pickett is stepping up on short notice. All props to him. You always like to see fighters that are ready to step up, and he does look like he's been improving, but yeah, I just don't really know where Pickett's game stands out. He's been able to bully these guys who are either very green in the case of his last opponent or just undersized in the case of Staropoli. And I think that with a guy like Daukaus who has better clinch game, better ground game, I think if he does take the fight to the ground, he's going to do a lot of damage. I think striking wise, his punches are just a little bit cleaner, straighter. Though Pickett does maybe have a little bit more power, I just think Daukaus, we can give him the better striking grades. So, yeah, -230. I think it's a pretty good deal all around, and I will bet Kyle Daukaus. Probably not going to chase a prop, but yeah. So, thanks for watching, guys. Share, subscribe, and take it easy.